Last time on the Honest Reviews.
Well, honest reviewer, did you think that piece of shit was the worst fanfic you've ever read? For what I hold in my hand is that piece of shit that you've been begging not to read. Well, I will send it to you. When you do, I'll make sure you suffer. So sad.
Now, back to our show.
Hi, I'm an honest reviewer. I make sure your movies are fine. Well, you have another fanfic to read. Yeah, I know, so soon? Well, I found it weird too. I mean, I just found this fanfic sitting outside my door. I don't know where it came from. But as you can see, it's a long one, so we better get started now. So let's start reading Land Before Time, Journey Across Time by Belmont 2500. 6,000 years ago, during the Dark Ages, an empire formed. It was led by a cruel warlord. As a way to counter his threats, one of the nations forged a sword that could forge and control time itself. The one who wielded the sword was obsessed with greed. He knew that the sword mustn't fall into the warlord's hand. During the battle, the Rift sword wielder was defeated, but before passing, he sent the sword into the future. It appeared in a street in the town of Reading, in front of a simple teenager named Nicholas Frost and his mother in the year 1993. Nicholas trained with the sword, unaware of its ability, until one day, during the year 1997, a time rift opened and took him. But before his passing, Nicholas imparted the sword to his friend of his, a young boy named Ethan Sullivan. Belmont 2500 presents Land Before Time, Journey Across Time. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this is actually a rewrite of his first part of the series. Let's continue. 10 or 11 years later, 2009. The sun rose over the treetops of Redding, California. It steamed through the windows of a still quiet house. Living there was a boy, 14 years old, named Ethan. Still lying in bed, his eyes wandered to the window. The outside world was waking up. Ethan could hear the birds filling the morning air with sound. Their calls meant home to Ethan in a way he wasn't necessarily aware of it. Their calls were a familiar sound that punctuated every sunrise. You remember the many times of hiking to Lake Bernie Falls, where he found off the glimpse of bald eagles, osprey, Cooper hawks, and American Pinnagrady falcon. Today, though, the sound made him feel sullen. They meant that he had to get up for school. He rose. Morning already, he said. He got up slowly to change into his blue shirt and beige pants. His mother, Jane Sullivan, began her morning literary. Ethan, it's 7 o'clock. Hurry up, you're going to be late for school. You still have to eat breakfast. I know, Mom. He was quite annoyed with his mom's reminders, especially when he was taking a shower. Although he had to admit she did help him get to school on time. Ethan put on his shoes, grabbed his backpack, and then climbed into Jane's Cadillac Sudden. While driving the 5 minutes to school, Jane turned on the radio. Ethan heard Diana Ross singing, "If We Hold On Together." The song was familiar to Ethan, but he couldn't remember when he heard it. Do you need lunch money? His mother's voice broke the silence, interrupting his attempts to remember how he knew the song. No, not yet. Ethan jumped out of the Saturn as his mother pulled up to the school drop-off area. He walked to class. Sure, Ethan wasn't a guy who hated school, but he wasn't someone who loved it either. His morning class was on the 3rd floor, so he entered the classroom breathless from the stair climb. He took a seat in the front of the class and dumped his backpack beside him. Ethan, even at 14, didn't think badly of people around him. His first instinct was to trust people, since him himself was a trustworthy person. But sometimes the kids he had to deal with at school were undeserving of trust that he extended to them. Xander, a kid with tan skin and short brown hair, wearing a tap-off t-shirt and gray pants, slid to the seat next to him. So, what's up? Xander raised his hand to give Ethan a high five. What's up? Ethan's hand came up to high five, but at the last moment, Xander turned his hand inward and slapped Ethan in the face. Sullivan, you suck! One day, Xander, you and I are gonna have a real serious disagreement. The pitch that Ethan's voice had dropped as his tone turned icy. Xander drew back and cocked his right hand into a fist. Ethan stepped back, planting his left leg behind him in a fighting stance. Okay, break it up, you two, Mr. Saul, Ethan's first period teacher said as he entered the classroom. Take out your books and turn to page 124. The two boys reluctantly returned to their seats. Ethan drew his algebra book from his backpack. On the outside, he looked calm, even nonchalant, but on the inside, his mind was filled with anger, mounting frustration, and oddly haunting sorrow. He had never done anything to incite Xander's aggression. The kid was just cruel or mean. The class was a battleground. Ethan's frustration was born of his inability to change Xander's actions into something more positive. The oddly haunting sorrow was harder to explain. It was a culmination of various memories of being picked on by kids too immature to recognize the wrongness of their actions, and within that sorrow too lay memories of one who had never treated Ethan with cruelty or disdain or anything that emanated kindness of a true friend. The loss almost 10 years ago of Nicholas Nick Ross, a friend who had been more like a big brother, often was felt mostly sorrowfully by Ethan when he struggled with some of the ridiculous kids at school, kids like Xander. The bell sounded, signaling the end of first period, then second, then third, until the bell rang at the end of the fourth period rang. Lunch. Raising his backpack and haltering it on top of his back, Ethan headed to the cafeteria. He fell into the line with the other students, pulling his white hard plastic tray on a flat metal raceway and pushing along. By the end, Ethan had a plate full of food.
He was walking to the table when suddenly someone knocked his tray from underneath, sending it flying. "What the heck is your problem?" Ethan said, annoyed. "What's my problem? You my problem, git!" Another 8th grader, Jordan Fantoria, a kid with short hair, dark skin, a sleeveless shirt and pants, taunted him and shoved Ethan hard. Ethan raised his fist and tried to fight back, but Jordan threw a kick and punched Ethan in the face, knocking him to the wall. "That's how we gangsters have it out on our turf." Okay, I find that very racist, and I'm white. Jordan taunted again before the principal came rushing in. "What do you do now, Jordan?" said the principal. "He started it," Jordan pointed to the beat-up Ethan. The principal walked over to Ethan saying, "You okay?" he asked, concerned. "Yeah," Ethan managed, and with another crappy day of school ended, the rest of the school day was ruined.